everyone, it's me, Toni Homeperm, the singing diva of Long Island and nail polish enthusiast, and today I am bringing you a very special review video. Today I am reviewing the You Did This collection, which was sent to me in PR by ZoZo Co. Now, I was not asked to do any swatching, I was not asked to create any content when I received these polishes, but I decided completely on my own that I did want to make a review video about the polishes. That being said, my opinions, feelings, thoughts about these polishes are completely 100% my own. Now, you may be asking yourself, who is ZoZo Co? Well, ZoZo Co is a female-owned, small indie nail polish brand, and I believe they are fairly new to the nail polish community. I will make sure to put where to find ZoZo Co in the description box down below. So, what is the You Did This collection? Well, Christine, the brand owner of ZoZo Co, when she sent me the polishes, very thoughtfully included some information on the collection, and I'm gonna read it right from what she sent, so I'm not going to be looking at the camera. So, You Did This, a protest collection by ZoZo Co. This collection exists because what is happening is not normal, it is not acceptable, and it is not disconnected from the people in power who allow it to continue. Content note: this collection addresses themes of death, state violence, erasure, and protest. While the products are cosmetic, the intent of this release is political and commemorative. Please engage with care. You Did This is a 6-polish protest collection created in response to violence, erasure, and death tied to immigration enforcement and political leadership in the United States. This collection is about presence, witness, responsibility, refusal. This is not aesthetic activism, this is a statement. Christine also included this information, donation statement. A portion of proceeds from the You Did This collection will be donated to immigrant justice organizations providing legal defense and rights advocacy, including the National Immigrant Justice Center and the Immigrant Legal Resource Center. And I will be including all of the information for those organizations down below. So I just want to point out that I'm actually looking at this collection in two different ways. In one respect, there is the political activist statement that this collection is making, which I approve of 100% and fully endorse. In case you didn't realize it, I'm a drag queen. Me just doing this, just existing, is a political statement on its own terms. Whether I say anything political or not, my existence is a political statement. Now, on the other hand, I am going to be reviewing these polishes and judging them strictly as polishes, separate from the political intent. With that being said, I do want to point out, when I review a smaller brand like ZoZo Co and some of the other smaller brands that I have done, I cannot help but look at them a little differently than brands that have millions of dollars behind them and infinite resources. This is a small indie brand. It's basically a one-woman show, and I am going to take something like that into consideration when I review the polish. That's not to say if something is bad that I wouldn't point it out, but I'm not going to be very harsh in my criticism. So if I am critical, I am trying to give constructive criticism. I hope that makes sense. With all of that being said, let's jump into reviewing the polishes from the You Did This collection. First we have We Remember Them. This is a creamy off-white with a warm internal glow Inspired by Candlelight Vigils. Now, in my initial application of this polish, I had to sort of realign my polish applying techniques because most of the polishes I have a paddle brush. Some of them have this skinnier brush. I'm just not as used to it. So there was a little bit of a learning curve to using this brush. However, Christine has informed me that she is going to be changing the bottles and brushes that she is using. She's just waiting to use up the inventory that she has. And one of the things that I noticed with this polish, it was a little bit thick for me. So I did have to add a little bit of KB Shimmer thinning drops, just to make it a little bit easier for me to apply. And you can see on the tip, it was a little bit thick there. And so I did the first 2 coats, then I applied the thinner, and then I did the last coat with a thin down application just to try to smooth things out. And it did. I felt that once I added a little bit of the thinner, it was fine. Make sure if you are going to do something like that, that you only use thinner. Do not put acetone into your nail polish. That will destroy it. So just a word of caution. And I don't feel that having to add thinner is a bad thing. I've had to do that with a lot of polishes, even from some of the bigger brands right out of the bottle. It was a little bit too thick for my liking. I just added a little bit of thinner and it was fine. So that's not a negative. And here we have the full hand manicure. I did 3 coats and I did a glossy top coat, and I feel that it made a really lovely manicure. I actually had mentioned to Christine from ZoZo Co that I thought this would make a beautiful bridal manicure for somebody who's planning on getting married. And a lot of weddings do happen in June. So if you're looking for the perfect polish for your trousseau, this I think would be a lovely nail polish to wear. And I think it's just a lovely nail polish regardless. It looked a little bit more pink in the bottle, and on the hand it had more of a golden reflect to me, which I don't mind. I had to jump back in because I forgot to mention, I did let Christine know that I found the formula on this polish to be a little bit too thick for my liking, and she said she was going to be checking all of her stock to make sure that the viscosity was okay on all of the polishes. So I just wanted to let you all know that I did bring that to her attention, and she immediately said that she was going to double check on that issue, which is a really great thing to see from a maker, that they take this feedback and immediately respond and say they're going to make sure that this isn't an issue. So I just wanted to point that out. Next we have No One is Invisible. This is a lavender gray polish with smoky undertones and soft violet shift. No One is Invisible had a good formula. It's a sheer formula. You can see in the very first coat that it is quite sheer, but I don't mind that. I know that a polish like this that is very shimmery, you want it to be sheer. Otherwise, if the base is too opaque, you're not going to get the payoff from the shimmer. Here I start applying the second coat, and you're going to see how it starts to build up and become more opaque. I do want to mention here that I did not find that this polish was too thick for my liking, so I did not need to add any thinner drops to this polish. It was perfect right out of the bottle. And here I am applying my third and final coat of the polish, and I can sort of see some, I don't know exactly what they are, some sort of reddish pinkish particles that are in the polish, which I really liked. They give a uniqueness to the polish that sets it apart from just being a sort of lavender shimmer. And here we have the polish on my thumb, 3 coats with a glossy top coat. I do find with this type of formula that you have to be a little bit careful in your application. Otherwise, it can look a little brush strokey. But with a good glossy top coat, and I used my Sèche Vite, it smooths everything out, and you're good to go. And here is my full hand manicure. 3 coats with a glossy top coat of Sèche Vite, and I think it looks great. I really like the color. It's sort of this gunmetal steel kind of color, and I don't think I have anything in my collection like this. And I don't see that I had any brushstroke issues. It's a lot easier to apply polish off camera than trying to do it with the camera in your way as it is. So applying this to my full hand off camera, it was very easy. I didn't have any brushstroke issues, and if there were any minor brushstroke kind of qualities to the manicure, the top coat smoothed everything out, and it was all good. It looked great. I couldn't stop staring at it, and I really enjoyed this manicure. Next up, we have Ice Kills. This is an electric glacial blue packed with cold light, metallic depth, and internal fracture. I felt that Ice Kills is the blue version of No One is Invisible. I felt it was a very similar formula, just a different color. And although I felt the formula was very similar, I did find that this was just slightly thicker than No One is Invisible, which I don't find is a bad thing, and it was somewhat more opaque than No One is Invisible, especially on the first coat. Here I'm going in with my second coat on the thumb, and you're going to see that in the second coat, it's almost nearly opaque. I had just a slight visible nail line, and it's probably more to do with the lighting than anything else. So I was not completely happy with the opacity in the second coat on the thumb. So I did end up going in with a third coat on the thumb. And my third coat on the thumb gave me full opacity even under the very bright ring light that I use when I am filming. And it looks great. And here is my thumb, complete with a glossy top coat, and you can see it looks great. And here is my full hand manicure, and I found on the rest of my hand that 2 coats were enough to give me full opacity. It was just the thumb that really needed that extra coat. But as you can see on the rest of my fingers, 2 coats and a glossy top coat worked out fine. And the opacity is great. The color is beautiful. The reflectivity is stunning. I really love how this looked. I always think about different manicures and different drag looks, being a drag queen. And I thought to myself, if I was doing a Frozen number, if I was going to be an Elsa type character, a Snow Queen, this would make the perfect polish. Moving on, we have Their Blood Is on Your Hands. This is a toxic radiant orange, intentionally sheer and deliberately uncomfortable. Now, I found the formula on this polish to be a little bit on the thicker side, but again, I did not need to add any thinner to it. As I said before, it's a little bit of a learning curve for me with these thinner brushes, and especially when I'm trying to do it on camera is not easy. I did not pick up enough polish on the first application, so you saw there I had to go back and add a little more to the brush, but that's not a big deal really. Now, something I did notice after filming was that for some reason this polish was not showing up color accurate on the black background with my camera. For some reason, I don't know. I guess the intensity of this orange is just so strong that it was throwing my camera off. So it's actually looking a lot more yellow here than it does in real life. But I did find a way to counteract that, which you'll see. Here I am applying my third and final coat of the polish. And even in 3 coats, there was still the slightest hint of visible nail line, but I did not find that distracting or bothersome, especially because the intensity of the color of this polish and the beautiful shimmer that was in it, I just thought it still looked great. Now, here is where I decided to change to a white background, and you can see the color of the polish is a lot more orange looking rather than yellow, and this is much more color accurate to the polish in the bottle. For some reason, my hand became very tan. I don't know why. Anyway, here is my full hand manicure of Their Blood Is on Your Hands, and you can see just how beautiful that orange is with the golden to pinkish shimmer running through it. I absolutely love this color. I think it looks stunning, and I really feel that, especially in the summertime, this would be such a beautiful manicure. It's really just beautiful. Actually, when I first saw the polish in the bottle, I thought that it might be a comparable color to Crack's Cornea Killer, but when I put them side by side, Cornea Killer is much more red leaning, and this tends to lean more yellow. But it's stunning. It really is. This is one of those polishes. if you're going to wear this as a manicure, they're just going to be stunned. They're going to come up to you and demand to know what is that you're wearing. The next polish in the collection is Being Alive is Not Illegal. This is a warm, glowing red jelly. A living red, not a blood red. Now, for me, I found that Being Alive is Not Illegal had the nicest formula out of all the polishes. This one I did not find to be on the thicker side. It had just the perfect consistency for what I like in a polish. And I found that in my second coat on the thumbnail that I had full opacity. I couldn't see any visible nail line, and I was perfectly happy with this in 2 coats. And here it is on the thumb. 2 coats with a glossy top coat of Sèche Vite, and I found it looked great. This is not a screaming fire engine red. It's a more subtle red, and I think in keeping with the feeling and theme of this collection, that was an appropriate choice. And here we have my full hand manicure. I decided to try and do something a little bit different, and I'm actually holding the bottle of polish, trying to be an extra fancy nail influencer as best as I can. Despite my awkward hand poses, hopefully you can see just how beautiful the polish looks. This is a great formula. I personally feel that this polish had the best formula as far as application, and I love how it looks in a full hand manicure. This is a beautiful red. It's not the kind of red that's gonna be too cartoonish looking. It's a very sophisticated red. This would make a great Valentine's Day manicure. This would make a great Christmas manicure. I mean, it would make a great manicure for any reason, especially if you are a red polish lover. And I was really happy with the formula because I had great opacity in just 2 coats, and the application was very, very smooth on this. I was really happy with that, and I just think it looks great. It really does. Last but not least, we have You Don't Get to Disappear Us. This is a deep indigo polish with dense multicolor shimmer and subtle magnetic pull. And you can see here when I'm trying to apply the bar magnet, there's a slight pull, but it's not very dramatic. I found that with this polish, the magnetic effect was very subtle. And I tried it out in the cat eye style, and I just wasn't that crazy about it. However, I found that applying it with my horseshoe magnet, it gave a beautiful multi-chrome effect. And I really, really loved how that looked. So I decided to just wear this one on the entire hand in the velvet style. And I found that the formula was really nice. It was not too thick, not too thin. It applied very evenly and smoothly.
which is great, especially when you're trying to apply the polish while your finger is sitting in the horseshoe magnet. This built up to full opacity in only 2 coats, which again, being that this is a magnetic polish, you want something that's going to build up to opacity in fewer coats rather than thicker, because that's less time you've got to spend in the magnet. Here it is on my thumb with the 2 coats that have been magnetized, a glossy top coat, which was also magnetized. And I think you can see in the more extreme angles the shift from the blue to purple. And it's a really beautiful effect. And here is my full hand shot. And unfortunately, you're not getting the full effect of the multi-chrome shift that I was able to see in real life. But it had a beautiful finish. And even in these full hand shots, I think you can see that the polish is really beautiful. It has a very sort of a space-like feel to it, like telescopic photos of faraway galaxies is think of what I think of when I see the full hand manicure. And I try to get some angles, some extreme angles where maybe you could see more of the shifts that I was seeing with my eyes and not the camera. There's a little bit of greenish and orange that I was seeing, and I don't think I was able to capture it with my Canon camera. But despite that, it's a beautiful manicure. You can't deny that. I think you're seeing some of the shifts. You're getting like brief flashes and glimpses when my nail turns to a very extreme angle at the side, but it just was not easy to capture with the camera. Here I tried a completely different angle, and I think you can see some of the shift a little bit better when I'm moving my hand in this direction. Finally, in an act of desperation, I decided just to try and get some footage on my phone with the flash. And wow, there you can really see that shift. It finally came to life in video footage. And I apologize for the oily cuticles, but look at the shift there. Wow. So yeah, this is how I prefer to wear this polish in the velvet style, and you really see all those beautiful aqua shifts and the purple. Oh yeah, what in this style, this is just perfect. This is just so beautiful. Oh, look, did you see that? Did you see that shift, that flash? Look at that. Look at that. So yes, it is subtle, but it's beautiful. And subtle can be beautiful too. It doesn't always have to be bam in your face.
And there you have it. That was my review of ZoZo Co's You Did This collection. As for my final thoughts about the You Did This collection, I have 2 different viewpoints. First is the political viewpoint, which I 100% stand behind, approve, and applaud. As far as what this collection wishes to convey, I agree with it 100%. As to the polishes themselves, strictly speaking as polishes, I really liked the collection. There were some minor things that I struggled with, such as the brush size, and I had a little bit of brush strokiness in some of the formulas, but as I showed you in my review, they were not things that I was unable to compensate for. Again, this is a new brand. The owner is learning, growing, seeking to make improvements everywhere that she can along the way. And I, for one, look forward to being involved with the brand if I can and watching them grow and succeed. Now, if you would like to get this collection or any of the other polishes that ZoZo Co carries, all of that information will be listed down below in the description box. If you enjoyed this video, then please, please, please follow me here on YouTube. And of course, if you are following, then please hit the notification bell. This way YouTube can alert you whenever I come out with a new video. And please follow me on all of my other social media platforms. All of that is going to be listed down below. I don't know where you're watching this from in the world, but if you are anywhere in my vicinity of the U.S., I'm on Long Island, we are being hit with a really severe cold snap. It is freezing today. I am not going out of the house. That's why I decided this was the perfect day to do this review. So if you are dealing with all of this cold weather, please stay warm. Be careful when you go outside because you can get frostbite really quickly if you are unprepared. Well, that's all I wanted to share with you for today. I look forward to seeing everyone in my next video. And stay safe, everyone. Bye-bye.